Hi and welcome back. Yes, I have been absent for, oh my god, nearly 3 months. I guess early October was the last time I uploaded a video. I managed to kill myself with two art challenges in a row, and there was nothing wrong with either challenge, it was just enough. Um, Now, I had kind of expected that maybe Dana Tollefson would do another art challenge in December. But she didn't, and it's probably smart. She had one last December, and that was my introduction to her art challenges back then. I hope she will come up with one soon again. It's fun to do her challenges because it's just one piece that I have to finish. I think I am for now done with all the month challenges, even though the drawing for life art challenge was kind of fun because it was just a little doodle each day, but it is still, you have to produce a video and all that. Or I do because I upload videos of my challenges. Anyways, I have been trying to film something for you guys for the past couple of months and not really felt it. Every time I tried, it was just never coming out good. It was uninspired and flat, and no. And I'd rather not upload anything than upload something that I'm not even remotely happy with. I had lots of things I wanted to do this year who didn't, and how many did not do what they set out to do this year. But I have to say, at this point, I'm just happy that I am still healthy and alive, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, this video I have been kind of poking around for most of the year, because one of the things I set out to do this year was actually dive into different art styles and maybe try them out and stuff, but I never kind of made it. But this video is kind of a little bit into that, because I have also been thinking about that I wanted to talk about things that inspire me in one way or another, and touch upon this whole thing about inspiration and things that comes out of that. So here it is, finally, my my video about illustrator John Bauer. He was sadly a guy who died much too young. He was only 36 when he died. He was born in 1882 and died already in 1918. So he was only 36. He died in an accident with his wife and kid on board of a ferry that sank in a big Swedish lake called the Vänern. He lived in Jönköping, and if you come by Jönköping, a small town in the southern part of the Vänern lake, or at the edge of the lake, there's a museum dedicated to him there. He started out young, so he did manage to get something done. He was educated at the Swedish School of Art in Stockholm, and one of his teachers compared him to very famous watercolorists like Albert Dürer and Holbein, which is a great honor because, oh my god, those guys. But this video is not about those guys, this is about John Bauer. John Bauer's style, him being an illustrator, is kind of line and wash. I was given this book as inspiration because I was a very young watercolorist. I started out with watercolors at the young age of 10, and this is was printed in the year I turned 10, so maybe I got it that year or maybe slightly later. I got this book and some posters, and those posters were on my walls until I moved out of my parents' home when I was 18 or 19. And this book has followed me all over the place, everywhere. I love it, and it's a treasure. I marked up some pages I want to show you, and I want to talk about, because this book is a little dangerous to flip through on YouTube. Things were different early on in 77. It was still okay to, it was actually totally okay to show nudity. Not so much anymore. And actually, sadly, I can't show you my two favorite illustrations because, yeah, the main person on there has no clothes on. And I really don't want to get into trouble with YouTube. So, John Bauer was inspired by nature. It became his fate to illustrate fairy tales. So he has done his share of trolls and fairies. Let me try and if I can get the focus to work here. And this is so Swedish that it almost hurts. This is like walking into a Swedish forest on a winter's day. And I would be so not surprised to walk into a troll being harassed by dogs. That troll looks like it belongs in that forest, and there's lots and lots of trolls and elves and fairies and stuff like that in Scandinavian lore. And the trolls are, we have lore about trolls in Denmark, but they're much more pronounced in Norway and Sweden. And I think that is because they have all these boulders and bedrock exposed that look like heads sometimes. So I think that's where the idea of trolls came from. But this is very John Bauer. It's again a line and wash, and in these square format, and with this muted palette that he used. I have marked up a couple of slightly more colorful paintings, but I share one thing with him, and I only just noticed it when I was flipping through this and preparing the video, that I share his love for raw umber. Here's another thing that is quite John Bauer, and that is that the backgrounds of his illustrations often takes the scene. Meaning, here's the square, and the whole story in this case is told on the bottom 25%. This is a story about a troll mum who did laundry for the king, and here her son and her is carrying the cauldron on a trunk, tree trunk. But see, and it's a whole very calm illustration, because there's not a lot going on in the background. It's got parallel lines and calm colors, and a little more going on in terms of colors down here, but not too much. So that is very John Bauer, and again the square format. Line and wash. Sometimes the lines are more pronounced in some of his illustrations than others, but it's all line and wash. Here's a couple of other illustrations. He was interested in buildings and clothing, of historical clothing and buildings, and it actually, I forgot to mark it up. It's here in the front and I can show you. Here's again square format, dark background, and here's an old Swedish forest farm type of thing, and a little troll down there. But that is quite evident. He has this funny thing where it's very simple and very detailed at the one and the same time. And when it's detailed, it's very often in the clothing that you'll find all the folds and the shades and the decoration of the clothes, or on the jewelry, on here, the arm rings and stuff, on the troll, or giant, as this is, giant troll. And then he also did some I'm not sure if it's actually carvings or if it's just that he did ink drawings that look like wood carvings or lino carvings. I have no idea. I haven't studied his actual technique very closely. I haven't come across anything, and I haven't looked for it either. I'm mostly just an admirer. And again, definitely a lot of raw umber in that. This story is about a wizard who had a confrontation with a girl called Alvilda, and he's trying to mellow her. And here he's carrying fruit to decorate her window. But Alvilda was not to forgive him, so she let like a woman, poor woman who walked past her window, take some of the fruit so she could have something to eat. And this is actually a very colorful illustration for John Bauer. He keeps it very much in green and brown otherwise, or ochre. He's a little bit. I think he has maybe used a bit of cobalt red and stuff. And again, this is, see, I can zoom in and get the focus and things to work here. There, you can see this is one of those where there's quite a good deal of line work in here, ink lines, and then colored in with watercolor. I suspect that he was in turn inspired by some Art Nouveau stuff. He has some things that kind of leans in that way, and the line and wash type is one of them. And here's some ink drawings. I love his figures. It's very expressive and special and very him. Here is that is so much Art Nouveau with this style, and it came out beautiful. And painted in, what is this? This is maybe a burnt umber with some sienna in there, mono colored. And again, he managed to bring in a lot of movement and still come out with a very calm composition. And here again he does that in that he uses these parallel lines in the background and let the background kind of be most of the painting, and then the whole illustration story takes up physically very little room. And again, we have a lot of parallel main lines in this, even though there's lots of movement in that horse. The whole thing comes to a very calm composition anyways. And again, here's another galloping horse, and you see his whip is parallel to the horizon, and the tail and the body of the horse is the top line here of the head. The legs very parallel to the horizon, making it calm, even though it is a galloping, jumping horse. Beautifully executed. Love it. Love the colors. Here is this one I picked out because especially the prints here on the horse. He looks like a copy of some icon out of a church or something. It's got that bright purple red, and the whole way the things drape. I think he has been very inspired by some icon, and still it's very Art Nouveau in style still. And again, we have these parallel lines, vertical and horizontal. Not a lot going diagonally in here. See, his arm is, so it's very calm and grounded. and there's tons and tons and tons of details in here. There's lots of leaves in the background, but it's understated with the coloring. He gives it a lot of paint and does not paint in the detail. It's just there in terms of lines. Of course, he has a little bit of it out, but not much. So if you feel like sitting there and looking for detail, you can do that, or you can just get the whole story at a glance. That's a very interesting way of building a painting up. Here is one of my favorite. This is my favorite story. It's the story about a little princess, and she is bored at the castle and she wants to see the world. So she runs off one night and she meets this moose. Moose long legs, and he doesn't really want to, but she talks him into taking her with him, and she rides on him, and he tells her just to hold on as he runs through the forest and the mire. He says don't talk to anybody, and don't answer if the elves are talking to you, and she kind of can't really stick with the rules. She's a princess, I guess, and the elves end up stealing her crown and her dress and all that. She's fine without, and that's why I can't show the rest, because she is not wearing a dress. The thing is that what breaks her at the end is that she has a gold heart in a chain that she loses into a lake, and the illustration is that she sits by the lake wearing nothing and just is staring into the lake with her hair framing her. That's all that she really has. It's very beautiful and very good illustration, but I have to stick with just this one because I do not want to get kicked off YouTube for child pornography. And even though it's an artist thing, and I do not want to run the risk, and not want to be pandering to the wrong kind of people. Here again, parallel lines, beautiful illustration, and this one, I have to pull the camera out a little bit again. Absolutely love it. And I guess this might have been my first taste of where I started really loving Art Nouveau. I'm a total sucker for Art Nouveau as a style. I guess it started here. This is a little Christmas decoration illustration with a goat carrying gifts, and the little boy is taking him to wherever he needs to go. It's from 1917. That was the year before he died. Absolutely brilliant illustration. Managed to tell a story with very few elements. And let's end this with my absolute ever favorite painting of all times. I love a lot of other paintings, but this one is, if I could just replicate this, I would stop painting. If I could create a sky like that and a grey dapple like that, I'm done. I wouldn't have to learn anything more in this world. This is fantastic. Love the colors, love how it's fairly simple, but also very complicated in all of one thing. And once you start to break it down, there's lots of things that are not super realistic. Like his sword is longer than him. It's huge. And yeah, but it's just brilliant. And I have tried as a kid to draw that horse a million times, and I failed. But that sky, I don't even know how he did it, because it doesn't even look like he used any masking fluid. I think he was just that good and had that steady a hand that he could do it. So this was John Bauer, Swedish-German illustrator. Died a couple of 100 years, no, 100 years ago, 102 years ago, sadly. He was one of the guys I would have liked to have seen a lot more of. And yes, I do not do line wash and adventure illustration, but I definitely use lots of the same colors in my paintings. And I'm very grateful for my parents for introducing me to John Bauer. I hope you have enjoyed his artwork as well. This book is still available in different languages. I'll see if I can find a couple of Amazon link to put in the description for you if you're interested. So thank you for watching. This was a slightly different art video, and I might do some more of these if this works out. I might do it just because. I'm not even gonna be interested in views and stuff. Thank you all for watching, and please like and subscribe and come back. I'll see what else I can do. I actually feel inspired to do line and wash work, because I usually do either or. I should try and do both. Take care. Bye bye.